Hi, my Jewish friends, Shalom to you. My name is William G. Peter, one of the witnesses of Yeshua HaMashiach, who was killed in the city of Jerusalem some 2000 years before. But the Adonai of Israel resurrected from the dead, and he has ascended to heaven with an assurance to come back. Today I would like to share with you a basic tenet of Torah. Because of the fact no rabbis in Judaism understand this portion of the Torah, and that is the reason I would like to share with you. We are living under lockdown, so that we can discuss our different perspective, so that we can come to know where we are standing in light of the Holy Scriptures. That is the only point. I'm not interested to draw anybody from their respective positions. I'm not asking anybody to accept my point of view, or I'm not giving any altar calls. No, this is a lockdown period. We can spend time discussing all these matters within our family members, within our colleagues in the synagogues or some other places, so that we can spend our lockdown time interestingly and fruitfully. So you can listen, then you can come to know what I am saying is true or untrue. How do you know some proposition is true? Well, we can only come to know some proposition is true when it is corresponding to the reality. And that is how we can come to know something is true or untrue. So, I would like to read for you from Bereshit chapter 2 and verse 16 and 17. Adonai God gave the person this order: you may freely eat from every tree in the garden, except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You are not to eat from it, because on the day that you eat from it, it will become certain that you will die. Adonai commanded Adam not to eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Unfortunately, Adam ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil because of the deception of Satan, and he ate it, and at the same day Adam died. How do we know the same day Adam died? Here is the fact. We are living in a lockdown time. Hundreds and thousands of people are being killed. How do you know someone is dead? We may call up a doctor or a health worker to check whether the body organs functions or not. When we find the body organs cease to function, then that is how the doctor will declare that person is dead. So that means that is a departure of ruah from the physical body, and that person is dead. Ruah, the spirit that has been passed on to us from our parents, from our grandparents, from our previous generations, that spirit departs from the physical body, and that is how someone is dead. The same thing was happened when the day Adam ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The departure of the Spirit of God, or the departure of the Ruach of Adonai, was departed from the physical body of Adam and Eve when the day he eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This may be a news to you, or this may be an embarrassment to you, or this may seem controversial. But if you listen, then you would come to know what I am saying is definitely true. So, the departure of the Ruah of Adonai from the physical body of Adam is called death. If I say like that, there is another question arises, and that is, how did Adam live 930 years? Because Bereshit chapter 5 says like that, Adam lived 930 years. The fact of the matter is that when the day Adam ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, a ruah of Satan, a spirit of Satan, arrived into the physical body of Adam. And that is the reason he lived 930 years. There are two incidents took place in Adam's physical body, and that is, number one, departure of the ruah of Adonai from his physical body, and number two, a ruah of Satan arrived into the physical body of Adam. There are two incidents took place in Adam, and that is departure and arrival in 2 seconds. There is no gap in it. I will give you an example. You can just look at the computer. The computer is being connected to the UPS. In my part of the world, in South India, electricity power during summer is so scarcity. We are facing such a scarcity during summer. We have a computer and also we have a UPS, uninterrupted power system. Maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes backup. When the power disconnect from the main source, power from UPS enter into the computer and keep it alive. You see, there are two incidents takes place in that process. One is reconnection and another one is disconnection. The power from the main source disconnects and power from UPS reconnects. This disconnection and reconnection happens within 2 seconds, having no gap in it. And that is what happened even in the physical body of Adam when the day he ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Is this correspond to the reality? Yes. Is this corresponding to the reality? You can verify by yourself and you can come to know what I am saying is perfectly true. This message, these facts are known to the rabbis around the world. How do I know? Well, I have checked out with various rabbis. I've met many rabbis in Brooklyn, New York. I also communicated with various rabbis. And also I personally checked out with various rabbis in the city of Jerusalem and in Israel. I came to know, different kinds of perspectives. Some of the rabbis says based on this verse, Bereshit 2:17. When Adonai said to Adam, when the day you eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you will surely die. That means some point in time in future, Adam will die. That is what they are saying. Some of the other rabbis are saying like this. Adam ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The same day he died. I mean, he lived 930 years and he passed on 70 years to David. Therefore, Adam's days here in this planet is 1,000 years. That means for the Adonai, one day is 1,000 years. Therefore, the same day Adam died, when the day he ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's what, many rabbis in Jerusalem says. What about, rabbis in other countries? I communicated with one rabbi. He's a very remarkable rabbi called Rabbi Michael Skopek. Rabbi Michael Skopek is a director in Canada for Jews for Judaism. He's a very, articulate rabbi who answered like this. The day Adam ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, he didn't die, but at the same day, Adam has become immortal. Therefore, Adam was created as an immortal being, but when the day he ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, he has become mortal. When I again, communicated to Rabbi Michael Skopek to know how Adam was become mortal from immortality. And Rabbi Michael Skopek did not respond to me. And I think Rabbi Michael Skopek do not know the nuances associated with the process wherein, Adam passed over from immortality unto mortality. But at least Rabbi Skopek answer, and that is somewhat come close to the perfect interpretation of Bereshit 2:17. So I always appreciate Rabbi Michael Skopek. So I have checked out with various rabbis. Even I contacted, a famous rabbi called Rabbi Tobias Singer, but he didn't reply. Like that, I also contact Shabbat. Nobody has responded. Some of the rabbis has responded, and all of those interpretation or all of those explanations are nothing to do with the fact of this verse. How do I say? Because of the fact, all of those explanations, all of those interpretations are not corresponding to the reality, and that is how I say all of those explanations are absolutely false or they never interpreted perfectly. Because death happens, the departure of Ruah happens, and that is how we come to know somebody is dead. So Adam was died the same day he ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. How does he die? I said, departure of the Ruah of Adonai, because Adonai breathed his own spirit into the nostrils of Adam, and Adam became a living being. That spirit, that's the Ruah of Adonai, departed from the physical body of Adam, and that he died, and instead the Ruah of Satan entered into the physical body of Adam. Therefore Adam lived 930 years. You know, you and me are living in this planet as a sinners. Psalm 14 clearly says, no one is good, not even one. So that means we are all are children of a sinful offspring. Yom Kippur, we regularly plead to God, forgive us, pardon us, atone for us. Why do we do that? Because we are sinners. So you and me are having a satanic spirit. Or you and me are having Ruah of Satan that has been passed on to us from our parents, from our grandparents, from our previous generations. Therefore, you and me are called not good, sinners. But it is possible to pass over from mortality unto immortality. As I said, Adam passed over from immortality unto mortality. Therefore, now it is possible to pass over from mortality unto immortality. How is it possible? Here is the fact. A Ruah HaKadosh, or the Holy Spirit, was descended upon the city of Jerusalem once, the Yeshua HaMashiach was ascended to heaven. And thereafter, on a Pentecostal day, the Ruah HaKadosh was descended upon the city of Jerusalem and exists in this planet. Therefore, you and me can receive the Ruah HaKadosh into our physical body by the removal of the unclean spirit or the Ruah of Satan from our physical body. As I said, Adam's spirit, the Ruah of Adonai departed, and instead the Ruah of Satan entered into Adam's physical body. The same is reversed now through Yeshua HaMashiach, and that is possible now to remove a Ruah of Satan from our physical body and instead replace the Ruah HaKadosh, the Ruah of Adonai, into our physical body. And that is how we can come to know the fact of the Hebrew Bible that has never known to rabbis in Judaism. So what is the proof? You may demand a proof. How do we know this happened ever? How do we know how it was happened in Adam, or how it was happened to anybody? You may be asking like that. I'm giving you a proof. As I said, a Ruah HaKadosh was descended upon the city of Jerusalem and exists in this planet. When Yeshua here in this planet, he said, before Abraham was I am. Your forefathers took stones to cast on him and to kill him. If you would have demanded a clarification, then Yeshua would have been clarified it. Now, I can claim to exist before 2000 years. How do I claim to exist before 2000 years? Because of the fact, the Ruah HaKadosh that entered into my physical body by the removal of the Ruah of Satan from my physical body. Therefore, the age of the Ruah HaKadosh is applicable to me. The age of the Ruah is now 1987 years. The Holy Spirit, the age of the Holy Spirit as of now is 1987 years. Therefore, if I gone through the process of the removal of the Ruah of Satan from my physical body that has been passed on to me from my parents, from my previous generations, and instead replacement of the Ruah HaKadosh, a Ruah of Adonai, into my physical body, so that the age of the Holy Spirit, the age of the Ruah HaKadosh applicable to me. And that is a reason I can also claim to exist before 2000 years. What is the proof? The proof is that, the indwelling Ruach Akados, or the indwelling Ruach of the Holy Spirit, the physical body is the temple of God. The temple of God cannot be distorted by deadly viruses like COVID-19 or cancerous viruses or accident or even bullets. It is verifiable. And that is the reason I am saying it is testable and true interpretation. So, Torah says Adam died the same day. Adam did not, pass on 70 years to David. Or, as of, various Rabbi says, when Adonai says, when the day you eat the forbidden fruit, then you will die some point in time. That is not, Adonai said in this verse. As Adonai said, the same day Adam died. How did Adam die? His spirit, that is Ruach Akados or Ruach of Adonai, removed from physical body of Adam, and instead replacement of, a satanic spirit into the body. And that is the reason Adam died the same day he ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This may be an offense to you, or you may feel I'm offending everybody. No, I'm not offending everybody. You know why? Because I too had, the same Ruach of Satan once. I'm not exempted from the indwelling of the Ruach of Satan, my physical body. But I realized there is a Ruach of Satan indwelling me. Therefore, I have to take an action to get rid of the Ruach of Satan from my physical body. And that is possible through the Messiah, through Yeshua HaMashiach, who was murdered brutally on a cross. But the Adonai of Israel resurrected from the dead, and he has ascended to heaven with an assurance to come back. Before he comes back, the Yeshua must be testified through the world. And that is the reason, I introduce myself as a witness of Yeshua HaMashiach. So, the basic tenet of Torah has not been understood by Jewish scholars in Judaism or rabbis in Judaism. If anybody, would like to debate with me over this portion of the Torah, I'm willing to participate even in a public debate so that we can discuss over these matters and come to know where we are standing in light of the scriptures. That is what, I would like to share with you. May Adonai bless you. The face of Adonai shine upon you. Shalom and shalom.